My name is Bookend, and this is my review of The Lost Heir, the second book in the Wings of Fire series, which is written by T.U.I. Sutherland. Alright, and also, just before we get started on the review, the quick spoiler warning for everyone that hasn't read this book or the previous book or any of the following books in this series, because I will be spoiling literally everything in 3 seconds. So here's your warning. 3, 2, 1. Alright, let's get started on the review. This book basically takes everything that the first book in the series, this one, did right, and changes it and makes it better in every single possible way. For example, let's look at the main character's story arcs. Clay's arc in the first book was pretty good, and it was very interesting to see how he changed to realize his family of the Dragonettes was his best family, and his arc on realizing that he isn't destined to be a killer and he can do good by being normal as well was really nice and inspirational. But I think this one does that like 10 times better with Tsunami's arc. Tsunami starts off wanting to control everyone and for everyone to understand that she's in charge, but eventually she realizes that the others have ideas too, and she can't just dominate them all. It's really interesting to see how naive Tsunami is at the start of the book, and she even has thoughts that they should just immediately side with Blister because her queen, or her mother, because she's the princess, thinks that Blister is the best. So she thinks, oh, my mother is the best, so we should just side with Blister immediately, when Blister is one of the three queens. About the actual book, I have something to bring up that I haven't brought up in the previous book because it was the first book in the series and I really couldn't bring it up. But as you can see from the cover and the title, this book focuses on a completely different member of the five dragonettes than the first one. The first one focuses or is taken in from the point of view of Clay, which you can see on this cover, but this book is from the point of view of Tsunami, which is on this cover. I find this a really interesting thing that T.U.I. Sutherland does because it's really interesting to see how different characters react to certain scenarios. Because these are all taking place in chronological order, right? So you can see Tsunami's thoughts to what happened inside Queen Scarlet's castle, and you can see how completely different they are from Clay's thoughts. You can see how much Tsunami dislikes one of the characters, Peril, and how she thinks Clay is wrong for trusting him at all. Let's talk about the story of this book. I don't think the story, again, is much better than the previous book, but I'll go over it really quickly. So this book starts off with Tsunami convincing the other dragonettes to head to the Sea Kingdom, which her mother is the queen of, as she was taken from the royal hatchery by a dragon called Webbs that raised her, and she wants to go there to seek safety because of how badly they were treated at Queen Scarlet's castle and how they're imprisoned there. Once they get there, everything seems fine for a few days, but after that they realize that something strange is happening and attacks are taking place. And so basically it's Tsunami's job and the rest of the Dragonette's job to figure out why the attacks are happening and to try and stop them. And at the end of the book, they end up being imprisoned by Tsunami's own mother after she realizes what happened to Tsunami's father in the Queen Scarlet's castle. And it's really interesting to see how Tsunami realizes, oh, just because she's my mother doesn't mean she's instantly going to do everything right, because she literally imprisoned me just because of something I was forced to do. By that aspect, it is a bit of a better story than the original book, but I think just because it's a 5-part series, you can't really wrap up the story at all here. So it ends up with them traveling to another kingdom to seek more safety. Now, it ends up with them going to the Rainforest Kingdom to seek safety there. Now, another one of my complaints with this book, which I have quite a few, but that's not that many, but I have a few, is some of the villains feel a lot more lackluster. For example, even though Blister is being called the smart one of the three sisters that started the war by all the dragonettes, she seems kind of just normally evil, and nothing's really demonstrated to show how evil or smart she was. which is unlike Queen Scarlet in the first book, because in the first book we literally see Queen Scarlet planning to murder like a load of people, and it's very hard to, and it's really easy to see in Queen Scarlet's case how evil she is, because she's literally killing all of these dragonets just for her enjoyment. However, in this book, Blister is shown to be evil, as she does help put the dragonets in prison, but all she does, it doesn't really feel all that evil, if you know what I'm saying. Now, to get that out of the way, my biggest complaint with this book is just Tsunami's character in general. Tsunami is probably my least favorite out of the 5 dragonets, but you can get over it very quickly to just enjoy the book. So that pretty much wraps up my review of this book. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy the review, please, and if you found it helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel, as it would really help me out a ton. Thanks for listening. Bye!